right? So when you know the truth about Easter, you see, and seeing that the Bible said don't celebrate it, what should you be doing?
Don't celebrate it, I guess. If that's how you see the truth, but I don't see the truth like that. I see Jesus as the truth. So I'm gonna follow in his way. I'm gonna do as he did. But I'm not an Israelite. I think that's the issue here. Is I just don't believe that I'm an Israelite. I believe that is specific to the culture of the children of God back in the Old Testament. If I don't see myself as an Israelite, I don't see that as my culture, then I don't see that as necessary for me to follow. Because in the New Testament, Jesus he came specifically for the children of God, the Israelites, yes, but he also didn't, not listen or pay attention to anybody else. He also came for the Gentiles. I mean, the New Testament, half of it is written for Gentiles. I don't think it matters specifically that I be an Israelite or follow their laws. There are new laws written in the New Testament that he brought, and those are the laws I feel I ought to follow.
Okay.
All right. Go to Matthew 15:24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24.
So let's find out who Christ came for.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So who did Christ come for?
He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Okay. No. There can't be. The but only. Let's see. Oh yeah. She was a Greek woman, but when you read in Mark 7, but the but was this. You want to add a but to it? Let's read the but that Christ said.
But
read it from the beginning.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the...
You see the but? But, meaning but only...
unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
And this comes back to what? What the angel said unto Mary back in chapter 1. Let's go back to chapter 1 and let's read verse 21. All right, before Christ was born, what did the angel say?
The book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
Everybody?
Their sins. His people from their sins.
So only his people. Who's his people? Matthew 2 and 6. So we're gonna dive into the scriptures and find out who Christ really was for.
Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people, Israel.
So when it said he shall save his people from their sins, it's because the Israelites, do you know what sin is?
Yes.
What's sin?
Sin is it's idolatry and it's unbelief in God.
Okay, that's a part of sin. But the biblical definition is what? Let's read the definition of sin.
The book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is the transgression, which is the breaking of God's law. So the next question, remember, Christ came to save his people from their sins. Sin is the transgression of the law. Who was given the laws of God?
The children of Israel.
Was any other nation... Before you ask your question, I'm asking this. Was any other nation given the laws of God?
This is a layered question because I feel like there were laws given in the Old Testament, but then there were more laws given in the New Testament as well.
Okay.
And those New Testament laws were given to everyone.
Show me where the law was given to anyone else out of Israel. Show me. Or give me an example. We can get, I might know the precept. What's the example when the law was given to another nation outside of Israel?
When Paul said that the law can be summed up that love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Love thy neighbor as yourself. When did Paul say that? Where?
It was in, I don't remember when the New Testament.
Okay, I'm gonna show you.
Not as yourself, but love thy neighbor.
Right, so I'm gonna show you where Christ said that. All right, and then I can show you where Paul said it also. So let's go to Matthew 22 and verse 36. I'm gonna show you Christ said it, I'm gonna show you Paul said it, and I'm gonna show you where they both got it from. Right, because what they both got it from, they got it back from where it was written and written from spoken by Moses. Hold on, no. Let's deal with that example first, and then you can bring another example. Read that.
Matthew 22 verse 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
So remember, when Christ was walking on the scene, there was no New Testament. It was being written. So what Christ didn't just come up with that out of nowhere. Like he said, he came from the law. Get me that in Deuteronomy 6 and 5. I'm gonna show you exactly where Christ was quoting Moses when he said that. Love God with all their heart. That's nothing new. It's been there. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
See, that is not new what Christ said. And that's what he got from the law which was given unto the children of Israel. The next part, Matthew 22, 36, 37.
Verse 37, Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with...
38.
Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Leviticus 19:17 now. I'm going to show you. Hold on, sister. I'm gonna get your. Remember, I said I'm gonna show you the two things where Christ said it and Paul said it. I need to prove it. I need to prove it. I want to prove it. I want to prove it. But I want to prove it. Right. Let me read it then. Let me read it, and then you ask your next question.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's the law that Moses distributed unto the children of Israel. So again, that's the first example you gave. You said it was given unto other nations outside of Israel, but we're going and showing you that was given unto the Israelites. So what's your next one?
My next question was, my whole thing is like, what is the point though? Like, if I'm not an Israelite, then does that mean that God doesn't love me?
How do you know you're not an Israelite?
It's okay for me to kill people. It's okay for me to sleep with somebody else's husband. Like, it's okay for me not to follow the law. That's the thing that's coming to me.
Nobody said that, but guess what?
That's what it seems like.
No, that's what it seems, but no one said that. I didn't say that at all.
You didn't say that.
But guess what? But this is the question. How do you know you're not an Israelite?
I don't have that anywhere in my ancestry.
What's your history? What's your nationality? What's your father? Where does it go back to?
As far as I know, it goes back to Africa.
Where in Africa?
I believe it's either Ghana or I can't remember. It's Ghana. I think it's Ghana or somewhere else.
Okay, so when we look, so we do the history. We go into history, yeah, and we know the history of Ghana. Do you know what tribe in Ghana?
I don't know.
You're not sure.
I don't have all
So
the details.
we've got the details. We've done the research. So when you go to the ancient maps of Africa and you look at Ghana, which was called the Gold Coast, right? The map of Ghana, where Ghana is located, was called the Kingdom of Judah. Why was it called the Kingdom of Judah? Because the Jews were dwelling or are dwelling in Ghana. Right now. Back then as well. Luke 21. Let's show you. Luke 21. Because there's a big gap in history that's missing. During the time period of 70 AD, when the Romans compassed Jerusalem, Christ warned them prior to the event, flee deeper, because Israel was always a part of Africa. It's the top part of it. He said, look, flee deeper into Africa. Like when I was a baby and the angel came to my father and mother, and we fled into Africa to hide amongst them when Herod was coming. You guys have to do the same thing. That's why we got deeper into Africa. And we're going to show you that. Luke 21.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. And let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So the Jews that were in Judea, Jerusalem, Christ said, flee into the mountain. When the Roman armies come and compass Jerusalem, flee into the mountains. When you look at the mountains of Israel, it goes deeper into Africa. I'm going to show you. Read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon these people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So I'm going to paint the picture of what we just read. Christ said, when the Roman armies come and compass Jerusalem, besiege it, which took place in 70 AD, flee deeper into Africa. Those that didn't listen, guess what? They fell by the edge of the sword and were scattered into all nations under heaven. How were they scattered? transportation of ship. And it said those that were going to be left in Jerusalem were not going to be the Israelites, not going to be the Jews, but were going to be Gentiles. So now 70 AD took place. Israel fled into Africa, deeper into Africa. Those that stayed behind, they were scattered on slave ships. Who's in Jerusalem today? Gentiles, not the true Israelites. That's what the prophecy was. Gentiles are going to be in Jerusalem today. Israel are going to be scattered. Are you with us so far?
Yeah.
Okay, now go to now Isaiah 11:11. Let's show you locations. Do you have the Babylon to Timbuktu? Yeah, let's get that. Jonah, pay attention to that one. All right, and we're going to read that history because that was a prophecy. Historically, it took place 70 AD, and we've got a book to prove it. So we're about to go get that for you. All right, Isaiah 11:11. So remember, the point is that Israel was scattered. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt.
So these are different locations that Israel were going to be. Syria, Egypt, Africa.
And from Patros.
Patros, that's Egypt still.
And from Cush.
Cush, that's going into the Ethiopia region.
And from Elam.
Elam, that's India. So the Israelites, so guess what? That prophecy pertaining to Israel being scattered, let me get that one. Israel being scattered into all nations, it came to pass. Read on.
And from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
So guess what? Hold on, before we come back. And the islands of the sea, so the different islands. What country are you actually from? Pardon?
The Bahamas.
Bahamas. That's, wait. That's you. The islands of the sea. That's you. You said the Bahamas. So now, go to, I think it's page like 84. Let me see this one. Yeah. Let me see. Right there. Let's read that.
This is From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. Page 84. Throughout the last 25...
Start from there.
All right. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
So it's taking us back before Christ, BC, right? So, because when you look in the book of the New Testament, when Christ was born, the Romans were already in power in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son, Titus, put an end to the Jewish state.
So this is what I was always quoting, the 70 AD period. 70 AD, you had General Vespasian and his son Titus completely destroyed Jerusalem, completely destroyed the Jews. Read.
With great slaughter during the period of the military governors of the Palestine. Many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
So now this is the history behind the prophecy that we read. We fled deeper into Africa. It was estimated over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. And it said the slave markets were full with what kind of Jews?
Black Jewish slaves.
So historically, the Jews were black. But what happened? Now, how did it end up white? It says Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. Yeah, so just to recap so far, we read Luke 21 down to 24, the prophecy, Christ saying flee into Africa when the Romans come and besiege Jerusalem. We had a book called Babylon to Timbuktu where it goes over that history in 70 AD when it actually took place, that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery, and the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. Remember in the prophecy it said that the Israelites will be will flee or be scattered into all nations via slavery, and the Gentiles will be left in Jerusalem this day. So now we're going to read what Gentiles are in Jerusalem biblically, and then we're going to look at today and see who's in there now. Read that.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations.
See that? This is more prophet. Every single Luke, what we're reading, this is, and we read Isaiah 11. It's all the same prophecy about Israel being scattered. He says he's going to he's going to recover them, and he's going to plead with the nation because of what they did to us. Read.
And parted my land.
Okay, so when they scattered us, they parted the land of Israel. That's what the Lord said. They parted it. And remember, look at Israel now. It's parted, and that's what there's a war going on in Israel pertaining to that. Who does the land pertain to? Is it the Jewish man, the white man on one side, or is it the Arab man on the other side? They're arguing about that thing, and that's what we see today. Let's see what the Bible says.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
So Tyre and Zidon biblically are Hamitic nations. Read.
And all the coast of Palestine.
Wait. All the coast of who?
Coasts of Palestine.
Do you know who the Palestinians is? Palestine are the Arabs. So we've got some Hamitic nations. We've got the Arabs now. Read.
And all the coasts of Palestine. Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah.
The children of Judah, read.
And the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. So
we have a Hamitic nation alongside the Arabs selling the Israelites to the Greeks, the Grecians. So who's the Greeks today?
The Greeks?
What nation is the Greeks? They're white people, right? So you have. Are you with? No. But the Greek people are a Caucasian nation. They're white people, right? So we have Arabs, Hamitic nations selling us to the white man. I remember it said the land was parted. Today that land is still parted, and guess who's on one side? The Arabs and the white man. Just like we're reading in Joel. And God said he's what? He's going to render a recompense upon them because they scattered us and scattered us to these different lands, sold us for wine that they might drink, all these different things. But this is prophecy. So guess what? That's why I asked you. How do you know you're not?
Right, I wouldn't know.
Right.
My thing is, if I am, great. That'd be lovely. If I'm not, I still don't think it matters because of. Can we also read Romans 6 verse 14?
Yeah, we can read that. I just want to. Yes, I'm gonna read. Two things, and then we're gonna read Romans.
Okay, let me explain this.
No. It's. I don't want to lose the point where we're at right now, pertaining to what you just said. Isaiah 1 and 3, and then Romans 8 and 16. Don't worry, sis. Listen.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider.
So guess what? The Bible's telling us. Let's paint the picture. Israel's going to be scattered, sold into different nations, sold for wine, all these different things. The land of Israel is going to be occupied by Arabs and white people, right? It's telling us the Israelites will now come to a period when they're not going to know who they are. That's you, not knowing. But guess what? Romans 8 and 16. This is how the Israelites are now going to recover and know who they are.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
So the Spirit in this Bible, when we're reading it, we're going to say, wait, hold on. Scattered, slavery, slave ships, Arabs and sold us into the white man. I bear witness with that. I bear witness with this. Scattered to the islands of the sea, Bahamas. I bear witness with that. That we are what?
The children of Israel.
No, it doesn't say that. Read it properly.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
That's how we're going to bear witness based upon what is written. When you're reading this stuff and you say, this is all what happened to my people. That's how we're going to identify who we are, because it says there's going to be a period where Israel do not know nor consider. So now
we used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.